Welcome to the Richard Sherman Podcast YouTube channel. Hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any of our playoff content. You know, it's going to get busy. I mean, you might get a bar or two.
And we see it again. Patrick Mahomes. Yeah, Richard, you were so right again. I got to listen to you more often because I said it was Josh Allen's year. I was wrong. Kansas City goes on the road and gets it done against Baltimore. Not a whole lot of people saw it coming. You saw it coming, though, Richard. What are your thoughts on this game?
I didn't see it soon enough, though, Mitchell. And I lost a bet. And I lost a bet to one of my followers. And now I have to don a Kansas City Chiefs hat during this segment of our show. Oh Mitchell,
boy.
It hurts. I can't even put it on right, Mitchell. It just feels like just doesn't feel right. I don't want to put it fully
How do you
on.
even own that, Rich?
Mitchell, I had to purchase it from Amazon. Our friends at Amazon, you know, obviously they're friends of the program, but an employer of mine. But oh my God, Mitchell, it doesn't feel great. But they played a fantastic game, Mitchell, and I made this bet early. I feel like it was December when I made the bet. And then obviously you see him play in the playoffs, and you're like, I mean, again, I said it all year. It's hard to bet against Mahomes in the playoffs because he just does not lose. And I tried to tell Baltimore fans, we had gone into one of those Twitter, like, what is it? The groups that like what is it called? Thread? Is it Threads or no? Maybe it's not Threads.
Whatever the little speaking icon thing where you can all talk to each other.
But I went in and it was Kansas City Chiefs. The follower who won the bet asked me to come in, Ethan. And I came in and I listened to him talking. Baltimore fans were talking about, it's going to be a double-digit win. Y'all don't stop the run well. This is Lamar's year. You haven't watched him play. Clearly, y'all not watching our defense. They're going to cause turnovers and cause havoc. And some of the things they were saying was correct. I mean, this defense has forced a lot of turnovers. They're number one in the league. A lot of sacks. But, I mean, I said I wouldn't say a double-digit blowout win. I think Kansas City's going to win in a close game. But, I mean, you can't bet against Patrick Mahomes, Mitchell. And when you do, he's had 17 playoff games, Mitchell. Only 3 people have sent it. Only 3 times he's been sent home. So only 2 guys have done it. Joe Burrow, and then Brady did it twice. And one of the times Brady did it, Mahomes was very young. And so it's been a while since somebody really just sent him home. I mean, Brady did it when he was missing his 2 tackles in the Super Bowl. But he's not had a defense like he does this year. And I knew it was going to get overlooked, Mitchell. I knew it. I knew everybody was going to sit here and treat this like a normal Kansas City Patrick Mahomes team. This is not that. They are not a normal Kansas City. They are a top 3 defense in this league, something he usually doesn't have. And so when you talk about what they lack on offense and how, this is a down year for their offense statistically. Sure, that's correct. They're not scoring a ton of points. They've only scored 33 times this year. But they're also number 2 in scoring defense, which is something they usually aren't. So when you're not scoring a lot, your defense better be dang good. Mitchell, and Kansas City's defense was really good this game, and I got to give them a ton of credit. Oh, my God, these Kansas City fans got me wearing a Kansas City hat. I don't know. Feel weird.
Well, Richard, it's funny because I was sitting watching the games with a couple buddies last night, and after Mahomes won, friend turns and looks at me and goes, is Mahomes, does he enter into the Tom Brady conversation right now? I mean, Tom, go ahead and take it.
Enter in. Mitchell, he is in. He is a freak entering. First 6 years, Tom went to 3 Super Bowls. Now, Patrick's gone to 4 now. Tom won 3 Super Bowls. Patrick's won 2 so far. Hopefully he stays at 2. But he's gone to 4, Mitchell. He's got 2 MVPs. Tom didn't have an MVP at this point. And Tom was not seen in the way Patrick is seen. Patrick is the big bad wolf. Patrick is Bowser, Mitchell. You know you're going to have to see him at the end of the level. No matter what level you're on, at the end of the road is Bowser. It's going to be that opponent. The top of the mountain, he's going to be there. Can you slay the dragon? Can David get Goliath? Can you knock him off the mantle? Because he's going to be on the mantle. He's going to be up there. And he's starting to become an inevitability. And so you look down the road, the AFC, if you want to get to the Super Bowl, you're going to eventually see him, whether it's in the first round, second round, or the championship. If you think you're going to go to the Super Bowl and not go through Mahomes, you got another thing coming right now in the league that we stand as it stands, and that's with Tyreek Hill, without Tyreek Hill. I mean, we talked about his receivers and the drops all year. Guess what? Valdez-Scantling, when he needed to have it, Mitchell, he caught the football. He caught it.
He did.
Sealing catch. Give him credit. Tip your cap off to him because he made the plays. They did not have a lot of drops in this game. Travis Kelce, 11 targets, 11 catches. Now, what else can you say there? But I think this is going to be a good matchup for the San Francisco 49ers and the Kansas City Chiefs. That D-line from the Kansas City Chiefs is ferocious, and they gave us a lot of problems in the Super Bowl game that I played with them in 19, and Chris Jones is still there. There are a lot of other pieces that are different, but Chris Jones is there. And that interior offensive line is going to have to find some answers for him because he's going to be the one. He can blow this game up. He can ruin it. And if they can't get him contained, then it's going to be a very long day for Brock Purdy moving off the spot. But if they can give him enough time, I think he can find some success staying away from L'Jarius Sneed. And, you can find some matchups with these linebackers, but L'Jarius Sneed is one of those ones. Now, him and Brandon Ayuk can go at it. I'm sure they can find spaces where Brandon could get some wins, but this is going to be a fun game. Just wearing this hat, Mitchell, just not a comfortable space for me.
You look uncomfortable, Rich. I can't even believe you have that. Well, Richard, this is a whole, to me, this Chiefs team, this is a whole new team. This is a wildly different team than the ones we're used to seeing. And that's what I think makes this one the most impressive for Mahomes. I mean, look at the players he's leaning on. Travis Kelce. What's Travis Kelce? 34 now, somewhere in that range.
Mm-hmm.
Rashee Rice, a rookie wideout, is your number one receiving option. And then Isaiah Pacheco, 7th rounder out of Rutgers. I mean, these are his top 3 offensive threats with him. And he's carrying the load. I mean, this to me, it puts him firmly in that category with Brady. He's elevating the players around him. He no longer has a Tyreek Hill type to help him out. But Baltimore, man, this team was smoking hot entering this game. Everyone was on the Lamar Jackson hype train, except for you, Richard, except for you. And yet again, it's a common theme today. You were right. Lamar Jackson folds in this moment. Richard, how does this happen?
Mitchell, I'm not right on everything. Nobody is. Nobody shoots 100%. I've been wrong. I was wrong on the CD Lamb thing. If you ask Green Bay Packers fans, I was wrong about Jordan Love. Obviously I'm wearing a Kansas City Chiefs hat for a second, so I was wrong that they would get put out and sent home in January. But Mitchell, I would say more times than not, I would say I'm at least 60%, maybe 65%, that I'm going to call it, it's going to go the way I called it, probably 65, maybe 70 sometimes. But it's because this offense has been stagnant at times. 10 games this season where he had 1 passing touchdown or less. There are times this season where you watch the game and you're like, what are they doing offensively? How are they going 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out? But then they somehow still score 35. And you're like, oh, okay, the defense caused 3-4 turnovers, and then the game got out of hand. But the games that were close, the games that where the defense played great, but the offense struggled. There was a few drops. There was here. It got tight. The Pittsburgh game early on where Kenny Pickett audible to a go route to George Pickens, and it was a touchdown. It was game 17-10. And everybody's like, man, the defense gave up a touchdown. It's like, well, they gave up 17 points. Can we talk about the 10 points they scored? Because the 10 points from that offense that's supposed to be all otherworldly isn't going to be good enough. And then you go on and you got all these other blowout games, but they didn't have enough close games where it was like, hey, all right, let's see how they execute in a dogfight. Because his defense was so dominant, they didn't have to. Because every time they got in a dogfight, the defense would make something happen. They would pick 6, or Kyle Hamilton, or Justin Madubuike, or one of the 2 All-Pro, Pro Bowl linebackers would make a huge play, and then the game would get out of hand. But I knew I wanted to see what it looked like when it stayed close because I knew Andy Reid and Spags would draw up incredible game plans to make sure, hey, we're going to make these guys do what they don't do well consistently. So this fantastic pass rush that Baltimore has, we're going to slow them down with a few screens. We're going to make them think about before they just roar off the ball and get in the backfield. We're going to say, hey, it might be a screen. You may want to hold your horses before you get screened to death. And so they slowed the pass rush down. Then on the other side, Spags was putting pressure on Lamar, containing him. These guys weren't rushing to sack all the time, Mitchell. They were rushing to contain. And they were saying, hey, Lamar, beat us. Beat us consistently. I want to see if you're going to consistently bang, dink and duck. And we're going to put our best player on your best player. And we're going to see if you consistently can beat us. And to Zay Flowers' credit, he had over 100 yards receiving, 5 catches. For all intents and purposes, a really good game. And there was those few plays, Mitchell. The taunting mistake. Everybody can say, could they have called that on Travis Kelce when he did it in the end zone? Sure. But that wouldn't have took points off the board. It wouldn't have changed anything. So it would have been, hey, taunting, move the PAT back 15 yards. Maybe they missed the PAT. Okay, gotcha. But this, in a situation where you're like, it's just youth, a little bit of youth showing. But he played really good. And later on in that drive, Mitchell, football gods always get you. He's reaching the ball over the pylon, which you never do. Unless it's 4th down or it's for the game, you don't reach. And I'm sure he'll know that lesson, and he'll teach it to some young kid later on and make sure nobody else makes that mistake. But L'Jarius Sneed made a heck of a play. Should have been a Pro Bowler, should have been an All-Pro. But Mitchell, it's those situations that make the difference in those games where you're like, hey, they had 5 personal foul penalties for 75 yards, 1 on Roquan. You know, they had, and those in a game of this magnitude that's this tight, you can't have it.
It's shocking. And like you said, that Zay Flowers play at the goal line. If he doesn't fumble that ball, we might be talking about an entirely different outcome. That and Lamar Jackson, I mean, the pick in the red zone late in the game when they were trying to fight back was the ultimate backbreaker. I don't get it, man. I mean, this guy looks unbeatable during the regular season. I mean, the Detroit Lions marched into Baltimore and just got sent home in the first quarter, you know, but here we are, Patrick Mahomes again.
They lost their way, Mitchell. They lost their way. Gus Edwards has had a fantastic season and been part of these really cool rushing plans that they've had. I mean, when they beat San Francisco, when they beat Detroit, they ran the ball. Lamar ran it. Gus Edwards ran it. You know, they did it by committee, but they consistently, it's 150 rushing yards, 20. Mitchell, they had 16 runs in the entire game. You would have thought they were getting blown out or something. You would have thought they were down 21 because you don't abandon the run, not when that's your bread and butter. When you're only down 10, at the most you were down 10, and you just give up on running the football. Like and that's a mistake on Todd Monken. Todd Monken, he'll learn from it. This is, you know, people think, oh, coaches just need to be perfect. This is his first AFC Championship too. It's not like he's, you know, Andy Reid has been here over and over and over. They've been in here 6 times in a row. So he's not going to panic in these situations. He's going to be very calm and poised because he's been here before. Patrick has been here. They're here every year. You know, this is a annual thing for the Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, they're usually like, hey, we're usually at Arrowhead, but, you know, we get to go to Baltimore this time. It's different, but nice little change up. In the end, the result was the same. You end up with the trophy, dancing and doing whatever the dance they were doing on the Baltimore field. I don't know, Mitchell.
It's wild, Rich.